Power Rangers thought y'all was slick, huh? Y'all thought y'all was gonna pull a fast one on your boy. I'm too quick. I'm too fast. I caught you. Y'all thought y'all were gonna throw something over my head that I wasn't gonna be able to catch. The pilot episode of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I feel good because we were able to review all 27 seasons of Power Rangers just last year. But there was that one episode I never had a chance to see. Shout out to my homie Gokai on Twitter that told me about it many months ago. And now here we are reviewing it. I'm going to let y'all know right now. This thing got super weird. So, one of the funniest things to do when you get older is to go back into a property, a movie, a TV show, or maybe even a game that you enjoy a lot and dig on the internet trying to find the ideas and the concepts at which brought you what you love. I'm talking about concept art. I'm talking about pilot episodes. And that was the case with the original Day of the Dumpster from Power Rangers in 1993. When we talk about this, you guys are going to quickly be able to see that the idea that Saban originally had for the show was a whole lot more riskier than what we eventually got. The lightheartedness that Power Rangers is known for today. Once you get done with all of the promotion from Austin St. John and Walter Jones, where they're really advertising the other seasons of Power Rangers to you in case you didn't see them, you finally get to the pilot episode, the original Day of the Dumpster. When this thing starts off, you are in Angel Grove, at least I think you are. But this ain't the youth center. You ain't got Ernie running around in them big ass Hawaiian shirts looking like a pinata and shit. You ain't got arcade games all over the place. It's set in a bowling alley, which kind of displays to me that Saban at the time did have a good pulse for making an accurate on-screen representation of what teenagers would actually do in that time period. Bowling alleys were popping during those days. At least, whenever I turn on an old movie, I see bowling alleys. So I'm assuming they was popping. In this pilot, we have the biggest difference being that Trini is played by a different actress. Audrey Dubois is the one playing Trini. There's a whole little dope story that she talks about on YouTube of why she no longer is the Yellow Ranger. I'll link that up in the comment section below for you guys to watch it if you want to check it out. It's a pretty dope story about why she never became the long-term Yellow Ranger after the pilot. But anyway, we see her being linked up with Billy. We see Zach is really cool with Jason. And Kimberly is set up by herself. But she's bowling. Obviously, they are already all connected and they're all friends. Which I thought was really cool because that's how we know them for today. The entire bowling alley setup with the gang and the fight that eventually transpires is obviously an extreme representation of the 90s. But damn, was the 90s wild! This is wild as hell!
Yo, Spazzo.
Come on, let's mess him up.
Hey, you're gonna pay for this. Big time.
Excuse me, may I interrupt?
Sit down, dork.
Yeah, well, you can make it up to me tonight at the movies.
Sorry, but I don't date non-humans. My facial!
What are you looking at?
Man, back off!
Hey! Leave her alone! Cut it out!
What? Huh?
No, I got this.
You're gonna make me, little girl?
my man's skull got a little rapey right there, right? With the, the kiss and you gonna make it up to me tonight. Somebody might have to call Ice-T or Olivia. This is some bullshit. Imagine the character doing that on TV nowadays.
Stop! That's a yikes! That's a big one.
What makes this particular scene so interesting beyond the original concept that Saban had for the overall show is the biggest detail. Bulk and Skull actually had a gang with them. And these ain't no clowns, alright? These ain't no dudes that are walking around wearing Skechers and shit. They ain't on that bullshit, okay? These are some real killers. These are the type of guys that'll slap your mama, stab your daddy, and throw your sister's body in the river.
Damn!
These are those types of dudes, okay? They some real ones, alright? You don't want to fuck with them. And I thought that was a very mature thing to try to throw into a kid's show. It was kind of scary how they were conducting themselves. Like they were really going to do something physical. Maybe these actors just really wanted the job, you feel me? And they were really, really trying. But boy, was that shit a little spooky. I told y'all it was going to get weird. But making it even more odd, the way that Bulk looks in this pilot is creepy. He looks crazy as cat shit. My man was looking like Glover from Scrooge.
It's really amazing what you dig out of the inside of dead people when you cut them open. People swallow everything. Here's some dice. The guy must have been to Vegas. Yeah, got all kinds of stuff here. Just beautiful harmonica.
Don't put that in your mouth.
In my opinion, looking at this pilot, Rita Repulsa didn't really change much from how she ended up being in the actual show, which makes sense because Rita is a Sentai character, at least the original incarnation of her was, and there isn't much playing around or changing they can do with the actual Sentai footage. It kind of just is what it is. So Rita, for the most part, ended up being what she was. But the thing that really stood out to me about the pilot and about just older Power Rangers in general, older Sentai as well, is that the amount of destruction that happens in this pilot when Rita is moving buildings around like they're on wheels is extremely ridiculous. And it kind of shows you how destruction in Sentai, destruction in Power Rangers has really kind of dampened down over the years. You aren't getting those crazy wild shots of buildings being completely blown up and flew up into the air, slammed back down. You're not getting those crazy things anymore, which shows an evolution that the producers and directors have had over the decades. The outside and the inside of the command center hasn't really been changed around too much. For the most portion, it's still the same. The colors on the inside of the actual command center, of course, were brightened up for kids when the actual show got a serious order. Outside of that, when you look at Alpha, oh my God, did he look terrible in the pilot. This man had a juke joint machine on his back, a VHS player on his chest, and a record player on his legs. He looked fucked up in the pilot. Completely ridiculous. Nothing was sleek or interesting about his design. I thought he looked awful in the pilot. Just terrible. And if he looks bad, you gotta see Zortar. You gotta see Zortar. That's right. That was his fucking name. His name was fucking Zeltar or Zortar. What the fuck was his name? Zoltar is his name. And boy, did he look fucked up in this pilot. Zoltar looked like those little shapes that form in a lava lamp. Because you could never actually get a clear view of his face while he was in the tube. It was always blurry and moving up and down. Honestly, it looked very fucking creepy. And I can imagine a child watching this like, Mommy, this show is scary. Speaking of scary, we know that for the actual first episode of Power Rangers, when the Rangers were being told what animal they had representing them, an overlay would come on the screen showing them in costume to kind of help the audience identify, okay, he's the red guy, she's the yellow chick, etc., etc. But for the pilot, they were like, you know what? Kids don't like colors. They don't like colors. They prefer freaky fucking dinosaurs. So they'll show each individual ranger morphing into a goddamn dinosaur. It is the creepiest shit ever. I thought that I was watching the Animorphs.
Jason, you shall have the power of the Tyrannosaurus, bold and mighty. Zachary, the power of the Mastodon, clever and brave. Kimberly, your power comes from the pterodactyl, cunning and quick. Billy, you draw from the Triceratops, patient and smart. And Trini, your power comes from the saber-toothed tiger, fearless and agile.
Really? How can you go wrong with that? Cartoonish appeal, you idiots.
It was really creepy how they displayed that. I was hoping that we would actually get a fight sequence within the pilot, and we did. Once they leave the command center and they go outside, not wanting to accept the power, they get attacked by Putties. These are not the normal Putties, y'all. These are some Putties from Nightmare on Elm Street. These are some Putties from Crystal Lake. These are some Putties that's been hanging with Jeepers fucking Creepers. That's right, the dude that takes your eyes. These are the creepiest Putties ever. One Putty will come up to a ranger, knock the ranger down, and a Putty next to him is just standing still like, piercing at the camera. Yeah, bitch. We the Putties. It was the most creepiest thing ever. No type of noises or effects were added to them. It really did feel horror-ish. It was kind of scary. After that, I was watching saying, okay, we need a signature moment. We need a signature scene that can just scream and attach themselves to me from the original episode. And we got that. Y'all know what moment I'm talking about. Jason called out his best friend, Zach. And Zach slides up on the screen. You know, he's a black character, so in order to display action, he's got to dance. Oh my God. They kept that bullshit from the original episode. Why?
Put us stay together. Zach, those two. Right, these two are mine.
It is funny though, watching the action sequence, you can actually see the growth and the development that the cameraman, the writers, the directors all have in keeping the action moving shot by shot. A lot of times in this pilot, when they're fighting the Putties, you'll see Putties in the background just standing while one Putty does something else. Or a ranger would be completely still while another ranger fights. I'm glad that that evolved over the years and we got dynamic in-frame action every single time. You want to keep the entire production moving. You don't want to have it be still during an action sequence. And they did a dope job of that. A few other things that are big differences. The Zords are called droids. The morphers are called transmorphers. I hate that fucking shit. And even shining a light on storytelling from that era, storytelling was a lot different. They didn't actually go into detail and explain things. They would just leave huge plot holes there and just say, take it, suck it. And that was it. They transform into Power Rangers with no explanation about the weapons, the blasters, the suits. They just do it. They just did it. No explanation. When they ultimately are able to defeat Goldar and the other villain, when they get back to the command center, Billy decided to do some spontaneous comedy. I don't know why. He decided to do the Bust It Challenge. And did a split.
Our inertial direction landed like this. Oh!
Is that an owie?
I believe I pulled my medial gracilis tendon. Ooh, I heard that.
It was pretty weird, bruh. The pilot was really, really fucking weird, man. And even at the end, Zordon gets his explanation for why he chose each individual ranger. And the explanation is so fucking weird, yo. It's like, Zach loves life. Jason is courageous. Kimberly is beautiful. What the fuck does this got to do with being Power Rangers? The pilot was awkward as hell, and this video is too long. So, the Power Rangers pilot, what does it get? What does it deserve? The pilot gets a mother freaking C-. I think the changes they made to characters, story, and setting winded up being a big, huge boost to the show being what it is today. Anyway, it's been weird, but it's been real. The camera getting ready to die. I got nothing else to say. Get out of here, bitch.
See, they gon' look dope. When I pull up, she gon' look dope. Look at he mad, ain't look, bro. She bad as hell, but can't cook, though. It don't matter, but you still watching me while I did it for the look, though. 100 feet worth of drip, don't drown this fly shit, that's the look, though. And look, though. I'm the wave, you can look, though. I'm something different, I don't think you get it, but I still did it for the look, though. Look, though.